Kind of a follow-up with the lesson that we did yesterday. You're given the equation y equals 3x minus 1. And I want to determine, is this set of ordered pairs a solution set for this equation? So what I want to do is I want to plug in, this is an ordered pair, so I've got 2, 5, this is my x, the x is 2, y is 5. So I'm going to plug them in place of x and y and see if it's true. So instead of y, I have 5. Instead of x, I now have 2 minus 1. Okay, so 3 times 2 we know is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So that works. So we know that 2, 5 is in fact a solution for this equation. Let's try the next one, negative 2, 7. So in place of my y, I'm going to put my 7 and equals, keep my equation, 3 times x minus 1. But in place of my x, I'm now putting a negative 2. Well, we know that negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 take away 1 is negative 7. 7 does not equal negative 7, so this one is not a solution. Let's try the next one. Y equals 3x minus 1. I want to write my 3 and my minus 1 in there because those are staying the same. All I'm doing is replacing x with 0, and I'm replacing y with negative 1. So 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Of course, negative 1 is equal to negative 1, so this is a solution. So the problem would say something like, find the solution set for each equation given this replacement set. This is my replacement set. So the solution for this given equation would be the 2, 5 and the 0, negative 1. That's my solution set. So it's very similar to what we were doing yesterday, only now you're given the x and the y. What we did yesterday was I just gave you an x and asked you to find the y. And I want to review that with you guys again too, because some of those were a little sketchy. If I have 2x plus y equals, we'll say, 4. And I give you the domain, that's my x values, as 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I ask you to find the range for me. Okay, well, if I'm given the domain, that's these x's. I want to plug them in place of my x here and solve for y. Excuse me. The only problem is y is not all by itself. So I want to manipulate my equation first so that y is by itself. So when I plug in x, it just tells me what y equals. So what I know that I need to do, I want to get this y all by itself. So I've got to get this term over on the other side of the equal sign. I'm moving the entire thing. So since it's a positive, to get rid of a positive 2x, I subtract 2x. So I end up with y equals a negative 2x plus 4. So I like to make a table. You don't have to make a table, but I always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. It makes it a little bit simpler to understand, I feel like. So my values of x are 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to use this substitution method and substitute these values of x into my equation in place of x and solve for y. So I have negative 2 times 2 plus 4. Well, negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Negative 2 times 3 plus 4. That's negative 6 plus 4 is a negative 2. Negative 2 times 4 plus 4 is negative 8 plus 4, which is negative 4. And negative 2 times 5 plus 4 is negative 6. So now I have some ordered pairs if I wanted to graph. I've got 2, 0. I've got 3, negative 2. I'm just taking the x from the x column, the y from the y column, and making them an ordered pair. 4, negative 4, and 5, negative 6. So anytime that I'm given an equation, just to kind of go back over what we just did here, if I'm given an equation where I'm asked to solve for y, I'm given the x's and I'm asked to find the range or the ordered pairs, then I want to manipulate my equation so that y is by itself. And I want to look at one more. Let's just make one up. 3x plus 4y equals 8. Okay? I want to get y all by itself. So before I even look at the y term, I know I've got to get this 3x over to the other side of the equal sign because I want y over here all by itself. Since it's a positive 3x, in order to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I have 4y equals a negative 3x, and this was a positive 8 that I haven't bothered. It's still left over there. But now I've got to get y all by itself. Y is being multiplied by 4, so I divide by 4. And I've noticed a lot of students are wanting to subtract 4 since this is a positive 4. I want to separate these two terms. Up here, I wanted to move the entire thing, this entire term, over to the other side. So that's why I subtracted, because I was moving the whole thing. But here, I'm wanting to separate the 4 from the y. So to get rid of that 4, it's being multiplied by y. I divide by 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I go ahead and divide that out, and I end up with y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. And then I can just plug in those values for x, and it will spit out a value for y. I hope that helped make that a little bit more clear. Have a good day.